We are live, you guys. I'm going to let this, per tradition, do the old warm-up thing, and then I'm going to introduce my amazing guest. But like all good things, we're going to just, let it hang out for a second here and let it do what it's going to do. Give me just a sec here. And Shawn, just so you know, Tom, my co-host, is usually here. He does what we call the minute to win it. But he was not able to make it tonight, which was a bummer. But we will carry on. We will do the
That's
thing.
what we do.
That's what we do. All right. Boom. And boom. And pegging you from. Yeah. Cool. You are tagified. Cool. All right. Well, I'm going to go ahead and be boisterous and fill this bad boy up. So, per tradition, you guys, the best drum roll a guy can give on a glass desk. Hey, everybody, it's a comic book look. It's your boy, John on Demand, a.k.a. the comic book Hugh Hefner, rocking out strong today. And, of course, joined by a very, very special guest. I am so freaking excited to have you on the show.
Oh, no pressure on my end then, huh?
Dude, this is awesome. You guys, Shawn is joining us from Fat Moose Comics out in New Jersey. How are you? Woo!
I'm good, man. Real good. We had that little screw up before we even got started. I thought
hey, it's okay. It's okay. So, guys,
time zones. I don't understand time zones.
Time zones are a doozy. So, Shawn and I connected last night, actually, and then we're like, I'll call you this morning, and so we talked this morning. I don't blame him. I only had one coffee in me before I drove to Sioux City, Iowa, to go to another comic shop. But we decided, hey, let's do a show and let's chop it up and talk about everything comics, because that's what we do. But very excited. We're going to learn more about Shawn tonight. We're going to learn more about Fat Moose Comics, and just wanted to check in with all of you as well. Shawn, we're popular right out of the gate. Matt is checking in with us. Finally got a notification. Missed your last couple since Facebook is a pain in the butt. Technology sucks, man. Matt, I hear you. We just appreciate you showing up. So doing what we do best, keeping it comics. Tony, thank you so much for checking in, my man. Good to see you. So, right out of the gate, Shawn, one of the questions we ask right away is honestly not just to tell us about yourself, but how the heck did you get into comics?
Everybody's got that story of, I remember my first comic, it was this or that. I have no idea. Well, I think I've had comics foisted upon me before I even knew how to read.
Sure.
I have vague memories of my dad sitting me on his lap and reading, like Dr. Seuss books and things to me. And I guess comics got thrown into the mix, maybe because, I used to watch the Batman TV show, the Adam West Batman when I'd get home from school. Spider-Man, the TV show was on in the 70s, The Incredible Hulk, Wonder Woman, Shazam, ISIS. There's a lot of superhero TV shows, so maybe they're like, oh, he likes those, let's get him the comics. But I honestly, not for all the money in the world, could tell you what my first comic was.
Yeah. No, I completely hear that, and it's truly it can be a flurry depending on when you jumped in, too, like because there were probably so many options, or you had so many interests as a kiddo.
My parents were just happy that I liked reading, when I learned to read.
Yep.
My sister, too, is a big reader, which is ironic. Our parents are not big readers. And but they turned us onto it, through comics and Dr. Seuss books and pop-up books and whatever hell else was around in the early 70s. And we both just fell into it. I don't know if she reads as often anymore. She's got a husband and 3 kids to take care of. So she probably laments that she doesn't have the reading time she used to have. But yeah, I read almost incessantly. It's a bit of a problem. I can't even go into like a Borders, like a bookstore, without getting antsy because I want to read it all. It's like I want this and I want that, and I come home with a stack of books, and you can see the other side of this room. It's stacks of books on top of other books. And my girlfriend said to me recently, she goes, you're gonna die having just stacks of unread books. And I said, I'm okay with that. I will read as many as I can before I drop dead.
Man. Oh man, I just was visiting about this exact problem. Unread books. So we both work at comic book stores. Your work is considerably more than mine is because you run the show at Fat Moose Comics. And I can definitely appreciate the art of having stacks or boxes or both of
Both.
unread books.
Both.
It's it's tough. It is tough.
Well, see, that's the
And
thing. And every week I come home on a Tuesday night with the week's new books, and it's a brick like this. My girlfriend goes, when are you going to read those? You know, and but the thing is, I want to. I never bring home a book because I think it's going to be valuable or
right,
collectible. Or I
right.
bring home the stuff I want to read. But like I said, I want to read everything.
Yeah.
Woe be unto the customer that comes into my store and says, "You have any recommendations?" I go, "Well, how long do you have? Because you might be here a while." Yeah, I love all of it so much. You know,
Yeah.
I don't know.
Do you have any leaning, like sometimes more Marvel than DC, or is it kind of just you gravitate towards certain kinds of characters, or what does that look like for your reading list?
Growing up, I was definitely a Marvel kid. You know,
Okay.
growing up, I was born in '72. I'm
Okay.
very old. Growing up, I was definitely a Marvel kid. I mean, I would read anything somebody would, put in my hands. But when I was able to go pick out comic books, at the corner store or whatever, I gravitated towards the Marvel stuff. It just looked more modern to me. The characters had more personality. A lot of the DC books back in the day, every character was written the same. They just had different powers. Marvel had just more human interest drama to me. And then I dabbled, in every other company, Charlton, everything else, but Marvel was my home base. And then '86, when The Dark Knight Returns came out, Frank Miller's seminal work,
Mm.
everybody kept talking about it and talking about it. So finally, I was at a convention, a local con, and I bought I think the third printing of issue one.
Yeah.
And I sat in the lobby and I read it, and I immediately went back in and bought, I think, two and three. I don't think four was out yet. I can't
Mm.
remember the chronology of it because it was a long time ago. But I read that and I was like, holy crap, wait a minute. DC does have something to offer me.
Mm.
And from there, I got into more of the, Watchmen and Sandman and Hellblazer. And the only real titles I were, superhero stuff was Batman.
Mm.
Even to this day, the main DC books I get are the two Superman books, the two Batman books, the 803 monthly Batman tie-in books and spin-off books, and never got into like Green Lantern, Aquaman, Martian Manhunters. It was always for me Batman, and then whoever happened to be hanging out with Batman that month.
That's awesome. Oh man. Yeah, I am a 80s baby myself. But when I look at literature from the 70s, I'm actually in the spirit right now of that. I'm collecting a ton of the horror stuff that was coming out at that time, which has been amazing and expensive and crazy.
I
And I
saw
don't
your
know
one
why I picked
video
this
with
one.
the book haul that you got mailed to you or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, I watched that. Yeah, I want to get a
Oh
feel for
man.
what you do.
Oh man, dude, like it's gonna be fun. It's gonna be I'm doing like its own show and everything to focus on it, and I'll fill you in on all that because you're probably gonna be like, try this, and this. So but the one thing I was gonna say was DC pieces around that time. When I look at a series like a JSA that's so world building and content full and there's like a million characters, I get intimidated, to be honest with you. It's not something that I feel like I could easily break into unless I'm like reading the whole thing, which is probably like 8 compendiums of literature. It
Yeah, I
intimidates.
mean that's the same with like the Legion of Superheroes. There's
Yeah.
like 138 of those jerks. Like I can't jump into that.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Not this late in the game. Like so that's
No.
why I stick on the DC end. But mostly the Batman stuff. But I do try to read a little bit of everything. Every little independent title, every weird thing. I my store is actually known in this area. We're in northern New Jersey of having maybe the biggest variety of new books,
Okay.
and it's maddening because you run out of rack space so quickly.
Yeah.
So stuff ends up behind other stuff, and I'm always paring down the wall and trying to make space for everything. But I actually have a kid who, and I will not betray him. He works at another comic shop that isn't even that far from my comic shop, and he comes in sometimes on his day off and shops. I said, "You work in a comic shop, man?" He goes, "Yeah, but you carry more stuff than we do." So I was like, "Does your boss know that you shop?" He goes, "Oh no, don't tell him, don't tell him."
Uh,
I was like, "Don't worry, dude, your secret's safe with me."
that's awesome. That's awesome.
But that's what I pride
um
myself on. People know if you can't find it anywhere else, I might have it.
That's awesome. Yeah. Do you also like do a lot more like indie publishing, image comics, just a
All of it,
variety of thing?
all
Okay.
of it. I
Yeah.
mean, as much as there are certain books I look through the previews catalog. I go, I can't think of one customer who would want that.
Yeah.
And then I won't order any, and then it'll come up on the FOC, and I'll be like, wow, I should probably get like 3 or 4 of them at least. I did that today. I saw a bunch of random books that I decided weeks ago, like, I'm not going to order that. I'm not going to order that. And then today I'm like, yeah, but what if somebody really likes it? What if somebody comes in, since I'm known for having stuff other shops may not? It behooves me to just get 4 copies, see what happens, you know.
Yeah.
The eternal struggle, you know.
Oh man. So one other actually, I had one other thing I wanted to touch on that you said. Checking in with Matt really quick here. Unless it's a special miniseries, I'm usually a few months behind. I'm currently reading mid-April releases. Facts. That's exactly where I am. And
a few months, I envy that. I'm years behind on certain titles. It's you know, I can even pinpoint when it happened. It was the fall of 1999, and my house flooded. There was a Hurricane Floyd. And the water came in quick, unexpectedly. I lost 12 boxes of comics. I lost a bunch of like signed hardcovers and things because I had my boxes stacked up. So as I'm taking the boxes off the top, the ones at the bottom, the water's coming up. And so I had to rebuild the house.
Yeah.
So I was still going every week to get my books, and I didn't have time to read them. I was rebuilding the house. So I'd put them to the side, Then there was a big stack. So I put it in a box and put the rest in the box. And there were those titles that would come out that I would absolutely make the time to read. But the rest of it, I was like, I'll get to those. But again, coming home every week with a stack like that, it's, you know, it's impossible.
Yeah. No, I struggle with that because I'm always like, I want to stay current and know everything that's going on, so that way I can make an informed recommendation.
Right.
But I'm probably, gosh, Matt, I'm almost with you, but I'm actually maybe a little more recent. I might be in like Mayish or June-ish. I don't know. The perk is that whenever I want to binge read something now, I can grab like 2 or 3 and done, you know. And get that Netflix experience that we probably shouldn't be getting for buying singles. But that's the only positive I can find in this whole thing. But man, I wish I was current. Like,
I have so much to read that I can do a theme night. Like, I'm just gonna do some DC heroes, or I'm gonna do some independent stuff, or I got to get caught up on Spider-Man, because I try to read every #1 that comes into the store, so I know what to recommend. I know if it's good. I know if I should even bother with ordering #2. So then I fall off on the continuing series that I've been reading forever, like Spider-Man or Detective Comics or Action Comics, because I know they're always going to be there, and I know what they are, and I know the audience for them. I know who to recommend them to. So it's kind of my job to try and read all these weird little independent #1s and stuff, because my customers know, and my regulars know, if I recommend something to you, it's for a reason. I'm not just trying to move books. And I made a deal with all of them. I said, all right, take this home, pay for it, obviously. This ain't a library. Take it home and read it. If you genuinely don't like it, bring it back, and I'll give you store credit, you know, unless it's like ruined, sticky, or the cigarette burns on it. I was like, but, you know, I said, bring it back to be in decent shape. Tell me why you honestly didn't like it, and then I'll use that next time I want to recommend something to you. I'll be like, oh, you didn't like this, and this is similar, so I'll leave it alone.
Yeah.
But I've never had one single book come back.
Yeah.
They always come in the next week and go, dude, that was great. Put that on my list. So pretty good with that.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's one thing that really spoke to me. I watched a ton of videos on your channel just to kind of.
Oh God, sorry.
And we talked about that too. We'll talk about that in a minute. But
puppets and crap. I don't know what the hell gets into me sometimes.
so great. We'll talk about that in a minute too. Okay. But what I was going to say though is that I really loved both in the documentary as well as just in general on your channel, which we're going to talk about that too. My Comic Shop Country. It was amazing. But I love your rapport with customers, and I think that that's so awesome in general. So talk to me about that. As at Fat Moose Comics, either as Register Monkey or now as owner, what has been like your absolute highlight? What has been your wow moment?
Well, we celebrated April 1st was the 40th anniversary of the store. 40 years it's been open. I'm the 4th owner. The original owner had it from 82 to 2014. He sold it to someone who had it for like 2 years, and he sold it to an employee who had it up to the end of 2019. And he was going to close the store. The 3rd owner is named Matt, and he just got burned out on it. He's like, I'm going to declare bankruptcy, liquidate the stock. I don't want to do this anymore. And I said, well, Store's been open since '82, man. We got tons of customers, box holders. We got a reputation to uphold. Said, give me a couple days. Let me work it out. And luckily, one of our regulars is a lawyer. And I called him up and I was like, Rick, Matt wants to close the store. I think I have the means to take it over. And he drew up the paperwork for me in like one day, pro bono. He goes, just make this worth my time. I said, absolutely, man. So the highlight for me was this past April 2nd. The anniversary was the 1st, but that's a Friday, so we had the party on the 2nd. Elon, the original owner who lives in Seattle, he flew out. Scott, the second owner, was there. Tons of people. I had Tom Rainey doing sketches and signings, Jim Calafiore, Chris Campana, and one of my friends who is a Kubert student, and he was just like, my friend Ray. And when he asked if he could be a guest, he thought they were all going to be other like students, amateurs, and he comes in that day and he's sitting next to like Tom Rainey. He goes, I shouldn't be here. I'm like, dude, sit down, sit down. So, he was so happy. And I made name tags for them, and it was like his first little con. And he's like, can I keep my name tag? Like, yeah, you can keep your name tag, man. It's cool. But we had so many people coming in, people bringing gifts, people bringing food, people bringing me bottles of bourbon, because that's my drink. And a representative of Mikey Sherrill, who's is she a congresswoman? I don't. This is how little I pay attention to things. But we got some certification from the town and from the county of having this store in business for so long. We had food. We set up a little bar in the back. One of my customers brought his tactical bartending kit, was making martinis for everybody. And there were a few speeches. It was great. And there were moments where I just got so overwhelmed by how positive it was that I had to walk outside and just like compose myself, because I was getting choked up, and never let them see you cry, never let them see you cry at the behind the counter at a comic shop. They'll pounce, absolutely. But no, it was so much fun. It was such a great day, and a bunch of the customers stayed after hours to help me get everything cleaned up, and it was overwhelming. And my parents were there, and my stepfather was there, and a bunch of people who'd never been to the store were like, well, this is the day. We wanted to see what you have done with this place, because I put a lot of work into it when I took it over. And but yeah, overall, that I'd say that's the biggest moment. You would think the big moment would be when I took over the store, but I was crapping my pants, man. I was like, I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know if I can do this. I don't know if I can do this. But yeah, I'm doing it so far. We'll see.
Yeah. Yeah, man. Heck yeah.
Hey, can I cut in with an aside real quick? Because I do that a lot. Ask Anthony Desiato. Your blacklight posters behind you. I have those at the shop. They're down. We have a stairway, going up. I painted everything black. I hung the posters. I had to screw them into the wall because I don't want them taking a walk. And I put black lights everywhere. Do you have black lights in that room?
Yes.
You do? Okay. Because I saw your video. I'm like, all right, he's got the posters, but the posters ain't crap unless you got a light to light them up. So
Yep. Okay. The whole wall is glow in the dark, and then behind me, this is all blacklight Funko.
Yeah, I have some of those. Yeah.
And of course, Galactus is my boy, so I couldn't settle on one, so I just got both.
I had both at the shop. I kept the main one and I sold off the variant.
Oh man, yeah, I love that. And then I got this guy over here too, the other poster.
Oh, and
nice. I have a couple more. I don't have wall space.
I ran out, me neither. So... out of the 12 they released in that Marvel set, I think I hung 8. I just don't have the wall space,
Yeah.
But I'm going to rotate them out. But I heard they're probably doing the second set of 12 because there were 24 originally. Then I'm really screwed.
They're doing another reprint box?
That's what they claimed, or what I heard. Because there were 24 in the original set of Marvel 70s blacklight posters. So they did 12. I mean, it's safe to assume. And I sold, I don't know, probably like 8 of those sets. And one of my customers was like, look, I don't have wall space. My wife will never let me hang at least even one of these. He goes, it's probably going to end up under my bed. He's like, but I have to have this.
Yes.
Yes. Yeah, that was a great. I'm so glad they released that, catering to the children of the 70s who don't have long left.
It's these ones are the originals. I just adore them. They're very vibrant.
They're not the reprint ones?
No, these ones are all original in the frames. I have the reprints in a box downstairs.
That must have set you back a little bit, man. Those things.
They're not cheap.
Yeah, that's why I was like, thank God for the reprints, because I'm not going out and hunting down the originals, man. Holy crap, dude, legit, man. All right.
Thank you. It was really funny because we did this trip to Omaha, and we were at one of those collectible stores where they collect everything, and at the time, my fiance comes over and is like, John, you need to look at this. I'm like, what? And right above the register, there's a blanket, and then there's a little tip of a neon yellow border of one of these posters. And I'm like, no way. And I'm like, dude, get that down and let me see it. And it was the Black Bolt one, which I didn't even know existed because I've never seen it on eBay, because that's where I got all these cuties. And I was like, oh, it was not cheap, but it wasn't terrible compared to what I've seen online. And
Yeah.
since I've never seen that online, I'm like, yeah, I'm just gonna
Well,
pull the
do you have
trigger.
buyer's remorse now that you could have got all of those at like $3 a piece when they re-released them?
Isn't that crazy? Yeah, like, well, I mean, I was, I'm 84 baby, so I don't know. But I mean, I probably could have looked for them sooner, certainly.
Well,
Um,
I went online. This is before they announced re-releasing them,
mm,
but I had like a Blacklight Yoda poster that a customer gave me, and
oh,
I found the Doctor Strange one through like Etsy or something. But
mm,
I got it, and it was an impulse buy, and it was smaller, and it didn't really glow that great. Like there were
mm.
some kind of like bootleg knockoff ones.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
then after a few weeks, they announced they were re-releasing those, and several customers like, you did this. So what do you mean I did this? They go, you started with the black light thing and you're bemoaning how expensive the original posters are. He goes, you actualized this. You
Yeah,
put this in the world. It goes, because now you can get them all for so cheap, in one big set.
yeah.
So I started trying to actualize millions of dollars in a sports car, and so it hasn't happened. But I do believe I put that out in the ether that I needed these posters, and lo and behold, they came to me.
That's awesome. Um, well, I absolutely adore them, and I put two and two together. I had told you this story. My friend Bill, he does a show called Comic Book Bears, and Bill's also in Jersey and had come to your store within like the past month and a half or so. He sent me a video of your staircase and was like, dude, you got to check this shop. And
It
then I
turned
was
from a bug
watching,
to a feature at the store because everybody hated the staircase. Like I walk up, there's like 16 or 17 stairs. And I said,
yeah,
let me take the biggest negative everybody complains about
there we
and
go.
make it into a feature where people come in and they're like, taking pictures of it. And my landlord brings people by just to show them. He doesn't bring them upstairs. He's like, it looks cool up there, but check this out. I was like,
Yeah,
oh.
yeah.
You just saw his face
Uh,
when I told him. I said, Fred, I got an idea for the staircase. He goes, yeah. I said, first of all, I'm going to paint everything black. And he goes, whoa, what? I said, you got to trust me on this, man.
yeah,
But he loves the end result of it. He's like, this is great. So,
yeah. Speaking of Bill, Bill is tuned in
hey,
right
all
now,
right.
so that's amazing.
What else did Bill say? Did he,
Bill liked your shop. And
I'm
I'll let
glad.
him weigh in the comments. But he just sent me that staircase. He was like, I thought of you right away because I know you love your black light. This is with the light on.
Yeah,
Ken came
nice.
upstairs and turned it on. It's a little hard to really project that
Well,
with
yeah, because yeah.
all that on, but I'll turn off one of my monitors here. Um,
Don't go all out for me. I know what they look like.
but I absolutely adore this, man, and I love
Oh,
basking in the
before I
black light.
forget,
So
you used the F word just before fiance. I want
yeah,
to congratulate you on your recent nuptials, man. Was it like about a week ago or so?
yeah, hot off the press,
Congratulations.
hot off the
That's
press.
cool.
One ring to rule them all. So
Nice. I never took the step myself. Me and my girl, we've been together for 13 years now.
mm,
And maybe someday we'll do it, but it's like, well, we've been together this long. It's just going to be an expensive party. and
it
and then
it was.
right when we were thinking about taking the next step, we're in a condo. We're looking at maybe getting houses. I took over the store, then COVID hit, and it was just like everything's on hold until further notice. So,
Yeah, yeah,
someday perhaps
yeah. Heck yeah.
the Star
Bill's
Wars
weighing in
community.
here. Great store. If I didn't live down in Princeton, I'd be there more often.
I thank you. I appreciate that very much. I
Yeah,
try to really be friendly because I've been to some stores, man, where it's rough. And
yeah,
I used to travel a lot more as a musician. I still play, just not as much because I'm always at the damn shop. Anytime
yeah,
I was in a new town, a new state, or whatever, I would find the comic shops. I went out to San Diego a few times because my sister lived out there. I got to go to San Diego Con 2 years in a row, which was
yeah,
awesome. I got to go
yeah,
to the Eisners. I sat at the Eisners. Kind of more boring than you would think, but I would always seek out whatever comic shops I can find,
yep.
and generally most of them were great. But yeah, you come across some real jerk off sometimes, man. It's like, do you even want to be here, man? Like, come on, you're in a comic shop. How are you not loving this crap? Even I get grumpy sometimes and stuff, but I really try to kill them with kindness whenever
Yeah,
possible.
yeah,
And
yeah.
at 35 years of being a musician and being on stage and knowing people are looking at you, I'm pretty good at faking sincerity when I have to. Yeah.
Sure. You know, it's funny when you say that, though, from what I saw with your interactions with people and how you conveyed information in the documentary, I feel like you're actually super honest, like a lot, and it's so
Well, if it's
refreshing.
somebody I
I love
know,
it.
if it's
I
somebody
love
I know, I mean, we break balls so much, the regulars, but if there's somebody in the shop that we don't know, we tone it down.
it. Yeah.
But even though with people I don't know, I don't know, my strategy I realize has become be a jerk real quick and then pivot. I had somebody
Yeah.
recently come in, a mom and her son, and she's like, "Oh, do you carry Pokemon?" I was like, "Oh, God, no, can't stand that." And they're like, "Oh my, I'm so sorry." I was like, "No, but let me explain why I don't carry Pokemon." I told them
Yeah.
why, and mostly it's because I don't want to. I don't want to deal with it, man. I see what that Pokemon stuff can do to a comic shop, and suddenly
Yeah.
it's the comics are marginalized, and you got Yu-Gi-Oh and Pokemon and Warhammer. God bless the people that play it. I wish I had the time. I would certainly dabble. But we have a gaming store, dedicated gaming store, like 8 minutes from us. And we made a
Okay.
deal with them years ago. They had a little comic book section. We had a little gaming section. We said, all right, you guys ditch the comics. We'll ditch the games. And it works out great. People come looking for Pokemon, Yu-Gi-Oh, whatever. I go, oh, you got to go to Highlander Games, 8 minutes from here. Tell them we said hi. And then they do the same. At least they better do the same if somebody comes to them looking for comics, or I'll be pissed off.
That's
So yeah, I
awesome.
don't carry games. We don't do events anymore. It was just, and I see videos of other shops on YouTube and stuff. People do walkthroughs and things like, wow, all that potential retail space are just
Yeah.
tables of people not
Yeah.
spending money, not buying. Like I went to a store once years ago and it was a Friday and they were having magic and they pushed all their racks back so they could put the table there. And there was a $35 hardcover up in the corner. And I said to the guy, excuse me, I hate to interrupt. And he does, this whole, yeah, like I want to buy that. He goes, oh, well, I can't reach you right now, because we got the table and can you come back tomorrow? I was like, oh, absolutely. I'll see you tomorrow. I never went back there again. I'm like, you got somebody wanting to buy something. You're blowing them off so you can roll for initiative or whatever the hell they were doing.
Right.
And I just would
Dude,
rather not have it be a part of my life. I know every other store I talk to, like, oh, I sell this much Magic. I sell this much Pokemon.
yeah.
That's cool. My bills are paid, man. And I
Yeah.
sleep better at night not having to deal with it. You know,
Yeah.
that's
You know,
all.
this makes me want to do a walkthrough. So our store does a little bit of everything, but we also are a larger store. And
Yeah,
so
it
we
looks at
do,
the pictures. The place looks great.
yeah, it's awesome. We do the Pokemon and stuff. The caveat with Pokemon and Yu-Gi-Oh, a lot of it doesn't stay. So a lot of it does fly, which is awesome and exciting for us. So it's kind of fun to represent, the different fandoms and
Sure, sure.
gaming. Gaming's an interesting piece, and when you lifted up the tables, we have a humble 3 tables and 4 chairs a piece, and that's it. And that's where we do our weekly lives with the branded screen in the background and
Right.
stuff. So if we didn't have those, we'd probably have 2 double-sided shelves of stuff, which is space to your point. But I think that we make it work for our current inventory. But we also don't do a lot of events either, so the tables do hold totes of things when we're not hosting events. So we try to just maximize the space as much as we can. I wanted to follow up on the comment, though, your experience with interrupting a game. I have been to so many game shops where you feel like an outsider when you
Yeah.
walk in, and that is my biggest pet peeve. I years ago, we've had several game shops in Sioux Falls come and go, and I was one of many bad reviews, but like literally, you walk in, who works here? It's just a group of people playing Warhammer or whatever, and they
Oh
look
yeah.
at you like you're interrupting their fun, and I'm like, I just wanted to drop some money, but um, it's yeah, I can't say that I've had too terribly many good experiences at gaming stores. We have a couple of exceptions here in town, but for the most part it's just been like I'm interrupting something. And at Rainbow, much like we're always just like we're ready to go to help someone with whatever, to the best of our ability. Having so many fandoms can be a little tricky, so thankfully we have a diversified team. Whether or not
Yeah.
that
See,
person's
I
there.
got it's me and my one employee, Justin. And
Okay.
neither of us are gamers. We like video games, but
Ooh,
neither of us ever really played any card games or any of that.
yeah.
So I don't have a staff. So to have an event when we had the anniversary party the night before, I sat him down. I'm like, can we handle this? Like, I think this is going to be big. And I said, here's what we'll do. We'll trade shifts. You'll do an hour on the register. I'll do an hour schmoozing with everybody. Then I'll hop on the register, and that gives you a break to go outside, get some fresh air and schmooze, get a piece of cake. A friend of mine made a cake. And then I had so many people there who wanted to talk to me and stuff, and people who'd never been there, people who were like, I can't believe you took over the store. That poor Justin was stuck at the register almost the whole day. And at one point, I looked at him, and he just looked like, I said, "Oh my God, dude, I abandoned you." I said, "Oh shit, take a break, take an hour, go outside, go run up to Quick Check, get a coffee, whatever you got to do."
Yeah.
But yeah, so for two of us running the store's 40th anniversary with 4 guest artists, a martini bar, and food and everything, and everything was on sale. And Tom Rainey, who's become a friend of mine over the years, did a shit. I wish I had a copy here. I do. I have the original, but this is a copy. He did a special anniversary piece for us.
What?
Yeah. So basically, at first I said, "Can you draw the 4 of us, me and the 3 other owners throughout the years, as like superheroes?" And he said, "No." So why not? He goes, "I don't like doing likenesses because people get easily offended if they feel it doesn't really look like them." And I said, "Okay, fair enough." So here's what we're going to do. We're going to pivot. We're going to have every previous owner pick their favorite superhero, and we'll draw them. So I reached out to Elon, the original owner, and he loves the Silver Surfer.
Yeah.
Scott, the second owner, he owns Highlander Games, so he chose the Highlander.
Oh, cool. Okay.
Technically a likeness of Christopher Lambert, but Tom nailed it. Matt, the third owner, loves Captain America. I didn't even ask him. I knew he would want Cap.
Yeah.
And then me, as a kid from the 70s, that's my Ghost Rider right there. Yes.
That's awesome.
That is awesome. And then I said, I want Johnny Blaze. I don't want Dan Ketch. I don't want Robbie Reyes. I want Johnny Blaze, the old school style. No chains, no spikes, just the way he looked in the 70s. Yeah. And then since Justin has been such a big help throughout the past couple of years with me owning the place, I let him pick somebody. We'll get you in there, man. So he picked Static Shock.
Gosh, that is just
so that's the whole piece together. And then I told Tom, I said, I don't want any writing. I don't need our logo really big. Sneak our logo in there. And Tom, being a clever bastard, let's see if I can get this on there. He put our logo on Ghost Rider's headlight. I'm getting a
whoa.
Yes. See that?
That's amazing.
Yeah, so he did that for me, and he's such a sweetheart. I said, look, get me the digital file or whatever, but tell me, where do you print your stuff? Because I've never done this before. He goes, hey, man, I do it all the time. He goes, I'll handle the printing.
Yep.
So he drew it. He digitally colored it. He went and got it printed for me. And then I bought the original piece from him. He brought the original with him. I'm like, I'm buying that off you, right? He's like, duh, that's why I brought it. And before he even did the main piece, he sent me 3 sketches, like thumbnails.
Yeah.
Of 3 different like poses, for everybody. And he let me pick the layout.
Yeah.
And yeah. So I still have some. You ever make your way to the shop, man, I'll happily hand you one,
Totally save me one, because I'm with you.
Absolutely. Dude, I printed out way too many of them.
That's awesome.
I got a good chunk left, man. I'll hook you up.
Yeah. Catching up on comments really quick here. We are just heating up. Woof. John is awesome. Thank you, Chad. Thank you. I need that because often I put my foot in my mouth. So Chop and Drop. Oh yeah, Rainbow is a one-stop collector shop. We do our best, Swiss Army knife. And Matt had a similar experience walking in, and they all rolled their eyes, dude, for real. Trevor is in the building, so Trevor's our Mr. Pokemon, and gets in the comments.
No offense, nothing against Pokemon, dude. We just don't do it. You live your life, man. I don't judge the people. I don't carry the product. That's all.
Chop and Drop says that's an awesome piece in regards to your original there. So that's
anybody
amazing.
Finds themselves at my shop, mention it to me. I'll hand you one for free because I had so many of them made.
So here's a question for you. Your shop, I watched this review video as 2 guys that were filming right outside your door. And
yeah, they were great.
Customers. And they mentioned that you had quite a bit of horror books at the time, or you still do, maybe.
I still do. I had a whole horror corner.
Okay.
And it was like some lighting and a black sheet covering the wall, and horror toys. I have a casket-shaped display. It was a Captain Morgan display that I got from a liquor store. And so I had the horror stuff on this casket-shaped display, and then horror books. And one of my customers a while back gave me a bunch of horror magazines he just wanted to get rid of, and he gave them to me. And these are all like Fangorias and Rue Morgues. books at, $8.99, $9.99, because magazines aren't cheap anymore. He goes, just
Yeah.
take them, do whatever you want. So I put them
Yeah.
on this rack and I marked them down $2 each. I
Yeah.
made a little custom sign, and they fly out of there because people are like, wow, I'm getting this like 11.99 issue of Fangoria or whatever for $2.
Yeah.
I'm like, well,
Yeah.
I got them for free, so I'd feel like a jerk if I was charging cover price, So just get them out of here, make room for more stuff. So I had to dismantle the horror corner. I needed more rack space for weekly books, the indies and everything else. But I
Mm.
still have a horror section and some horror toys and things because I love that stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, those two guys, I recognized them. I was only maybe their third video they ever did.
Yeah.
But I watch a lot of YouTube at night. I stay up way too late and fall into the YouTube hole like everybody does. And I'd seen one of their videos. And so the one guy, not the guy, I forget their names. I'm really sorry if you guys see this. I forgot your names. But the one guy with the shorter hair, he'd been in before, so he looked a little familiar.
Mm.
And then he asked, "Hey, do you mind if we film a little bit?" And I was like, "Yeah, no problem." And then I looked back and I saw the guy with the long hair, and I was like, "Wait a minute. I've seen you guys on YouTube. You do shop reviews." And they're like, "Dude, we've only done like 2 videos." And I'm like, "Well, I've seen them." And they're like, "Crap, we've never been recognized before, And they were in there for like an hour, man. They're really nice dudes.
Mm.
Again, so I apologize so much for not remembering it, but I watch all their videos.
Mm.
And they're great. Their production value is great. They're friendly
Yeah.
guys. They,
Yeah.
they they actually, the one thing I'm proud of, the videos they did before they visited my shop, they would grade them, on wall books, back issues, new books, and like action figures and statues. Those were like their criteria, and they give like a number score.
Yeah.
After visiting my store, they added to that video ambiance. Because
Yep.
they're like, man, your store's got such a good feel. Between the black light posters downstairs, you go upstairs, you walk through a beaded curtain. I got lighting effects all over the place. I just try to give it a good vibe. I'm there 60 something hours a week. I want to enjoy being there. So I made it, and I got a lava lamp behind the counter because one of my customers one time said, you got the beads, you got the black light. What year do you think this is? What's next? A lava lamp? I went out the next day and I got a lava lamp. I'm like, that's what I was missing, a goddamn lava lamp. So yeah, they added the ambiance as a number score to all their subsequent videos. So I feel like that's because of me. Probably very wrong. I'm gonna get an email like that had nothing to do with you, you jackass. We'll see.
Shout out to Lava Lamps when they came out with that Venom and Carnage one, the symbiote ones. Oh my gosh, I died. I was like,
did you get
give
any?
me all that.
Yeah. You got them? Nice.
Oh, cool. Yep, I have one of each. The Venom one fell once when I was moving it, so now it like looks all sad when it does its thing, and it's like the
I have a
water's
lava
all.
lamp that my dad got me. I think I was still in grade school, and it's proudly in the living room right next to where I sit and read my comics. But the one I got for the shop, they make them now with a USB port. It's so great. Turn on a lava lamp and charge your damn phone. I'm like, this is great. God bless technology.
Oh man. Chad, I saw your question here. This is Shawn from Fat Moose Comics, and Fat Moose Comics is located in, is it Whippany?
Whippany, New Jersey.
Yep, Whippany, New
Jersey. This is backwards on the screen, isn't it?
Oh no, you're good.
Oh, is that okay? Okay.
Your camera will show it backwards, but then
it'll okay.
Yeah.
I don't know how any of this works, man.
It's really weird.
Okay, well here, let me see. I'll do that. There's the
there you go.
53A Parsippany Road.
Yeah.
Whippany. Learn it.
So
live it. Love it.
I have a very important question from a very important customer. It's me. Do you with your amazing sometimes you get lots of horror books in, and I happen to like those. Do you ship?
Of course, yeah.
Okay.
Not a lot. I have 2 customers that I ship to who live out of state. But yeah, I don't love doing it because it's time consuming and you want to do it right. You don't want to mess anything up. But I will absolutely do it. I've done it plenty of times. Friend of mine who got to know me through the podcasts with Anthony Desiato and through the documentary, my friend Nick Jones, he lives out of state. I forget where the hell he lives, but he drove like 3 or 4 hours to come to the anniversary party. He got a hotel room overnight with his son, came and helped me get set up and everything. But I ship stuff to him left and right, So I've got 2 main customers who are box holders who have a pull list, and I wait till one of those smaller diamond boxes fills up. Then I send them an invoice, I charge it out and send it. But yeah, man, I'll give you a video tour of the horror section. You pick out what you want, and I'll hook you up. Absolutely.
Let's do it, man. Let's do it.
I got some good stuff, man.
I am all about. I'm just after that. The Marvel, the Ghost Rider, Doctor Strange, Morbius.
I got in a short box months ago, and it was all Werewolf by Night, Morbius, Ghost Riders. I kept the Ghost Riders because I've got multiples of every issue of Ghost Rider. But
Yeah.
there's a Ghost Rider shelf in my bedroom here, all my Ghost Rider action figures and things. But this box was awesome.
Yeah.
Man Thing, like all the cool Frankenstein, all the cool 70s Marvel horror. And it broke my heart to let those go, you know. But I can't, you can't, that's the biggest struggle. Honestly, the biggest struggle. You want to keep it all, you
Yeah.
know. You get something cool, comes in a cool collection. You're like, I got in a box not too long ago of a bunch of old Amazing Spider-Man. First Morbius appearance,
Oof.
Death of Gwen Stacy, Spider Clones, Spider Buggy, like all of
Mm.
these awesome issues that speak right to my childhood.
Mm.
And I sold them. And the whole time on the inside, I'm screaming like, no. I'm like, no, you have a store to run, man. You got to sell this shit, you know.
Yeah.
So can't
Yeah.
pay the rent with memories. So
Yeah.
that's the biggest. That's the hardest part, man.
Yeah.
Is letting stuff go.
Yeah. Yep. No. Oh man, that's crazy though. Yeah, the first Morbius. That's not a
That
cheap
was
one.
broke my. At least it went to a very good customer.
Mm-hmm.
You know, a very nice guy. He
Yeah.
saw it. He didn't. He even saw it while I was still rebagging everything, and he's like, "What
Yeah.
you got there, champ?" Like, nothing. Don't look. You know, don't look over here. But I let him look, and he's like, "Oh," and he picked out a bunch of stuff. I mean, I made a good piece of change off of that short box of old Amazing Spider-Mans. They didn't last. Within 2 weeks, every single one of those was gone.
Heck yeah. Heck yeah.
Broke my damn heart, but paid my damn rent, so I'm okay with
Oh.
that.
So one of the things that you had touched upon a couple of times earlier, I just wanted to kind of expand upon as best you can without, spilling the beans, is you originally were the register monkey and now you're the owner. So can you elaborate on what your experience has been like that? No specific dollars needed or anything like
Well,
that, but like what has it been like for you?
a bit of a nightmare most of the time because I took over January 1st of 2020.
Okay.
A lot of plans. We're going to do this, we're going to do that. And then by mid March, I had to close because of COVID. And I was like, but I just got the place. And so um, I, went into a bit of a mental tailspin because I was like, when do we get to reopen? Like, nobody knew what was going to happen.
Yeah.
And I would visit the store like once a week just to check in. And what I did, I called every single box customer who had some books in their box. Say, listen, I don't know when I can reopen. My landlord, God bless him, he cut my rent in half. He's like, until you can reopen, just give me half because I got bills. I said, understandable. And then yeah, every customer I called was like, yeah, ring out whatever's in my box. There was literally one guy who was like, no, just wait till you reopen. I'm like, all right, whatever, dude. But every single customer, not only that, where they like, because we have their credit card numbers on file. We never charge them out without talking to them first. Like, hey man, you got some stuff here. Can I ring it up, put it in a box marked paid? When you come in, it's ready to go. But other customers were like, hey, you know what? I've always wanted that one statue, throw that in. Or I wanted that one artist edition, throw that in. And they really like, backed me up. And one of my friends, Shawn Wolf, we did an auction at the store. And oh, let me see if I can find it. I got to show you this. You crap your pants. So when I took over the store, my friend Tom Rainey said, listen, congratulations. I'm so happy for you. You ever need anything, let me know. So my friend Shawn said, why don't we have an auction at the store? And, all the proceeds will go back to the store. So he got some items that he had brought in, and I had stuff at the store, and I reached out to Tom Rainey. I was like, hey, remember you said, oh, you ever need anything, man? I'll hook you up. He goes, yeah, yeah. It's like, I need something. So he did a piece for me for the auction. He said, what do you want? What character? What do you want? I said, no, you're doing this for free to help the store. You do whatever the hell you want to do. So about 2 days or even a day before, because he had gotten COVID. So he was laid up for a bit. And so like a day or two before the auction, he came by with the piece. I had promised myself I wasn't going to look at it until the auction so I could reveal it live. And I knew that wasn't going to happen. I have no self-control. But this is the piece, and we ended up getting a good chunk of change for it. It's 11 by 17. Let's see. I hope there's not a glare.
Whoa,
Now,
dude.
he could have drawn anything. He could have drawn a stick figure with no background, and I would have been grateful.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of ink on that page, man. And he was sick with COVID, and he still managed to bang that out. And I will be forever grateful. I told him, Tom, and he doesn't come in very often, maybe every couple of months. He's busy.
Mm,
Said, your books are on the fucking house for the rest of your life, dude, man.
right.
So he's come through for me a bunch of times. But so between all the customers buying their books, even not being able to come pick them up, I was doing curbside for a minute.
Yeah.
And then, hey, stop it. It's my dad calling. Sorry.
But that let's talk about that ringtone. That's
That's
awesome.
The Exorcist. Movie still scares the crap out of me. But yeah, so all the customers really stepped up and helped out, and then we did the auction, raised a bunch of money, and then I was finally able to reopen, with the masks and the shields and the hand sanitizer, and slowly, it's back to somewhat normal. Half my customers still come in with masks.
Yeah.
I'm fine with that, and if they are uncomfortable with me not wearing a mask, I'll put one on.
Yeah.
I got several masks, so we just try to work that out. But that was definitely, you take over the store and you're so like, okay, you're half crap in your pants because can I do this? And my girlfriend put it best. She's way smarter than me. When I told her, look, Matt's thinking of closing the store. I have this opportunity. I think I can make it work. What do I do? And I was just working at a pizzeria part time at this point. I'd been working there for like 26 years, but I was doing part time at the comic shop and then gigs. That's how I was paying the bills between those three things. She goes, well, you should definitely take over the shop. She goes, because if you do well, holy crap, you got a comic shop. You can do whatever you want with it. And she goes, if you don't try, you're always going to wonder, could I have saved Fat Moose Comics? You're going to miss it. You're going to miss the guys you only see there. And again, if you take it over and it's a success, holy crap, you're your own boss. You can do whatever the hell. You're always talking about, I know what should be done with this place. She goes, now's your chance to prove it, tough guy.
Yeah.
She goes, and if you take it over and it fails, just blame Matt. Just say, he screwed it up so bad I couldn't even resuscitate the thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
She was willing to throw Matt under the bus. She's like, try it out, and if you screw it up, just blame the other guy. She goes, what the hell? But so far, it's okay. Like I said, those couple months during the lockdown, there was despair, desperation, day drinking, all of it. But I slowly got it back together, and now everything's good.
Yeah. Yeah.
Some days are very slow, and you go, what the hell? Was this something I said? But other days you're like, holy crap! But this is a legit store. Like we're doing stuff.
And so we talked about, the staircase, which is amazing. And if you guys haven't seen it, watch on YouTube. Go look up Fat Moose Comics Walkthrough Part 1. Because you will see the staircase. It's phenomenal. I love the dots. I love the tape. I saw a video. I haven't had a chance to watch it yet, but it was like appearing in the right-hand side where it was something about these damn dots or something like that. Like, I don't know.
It was, wait, what was it?
It said something like these damn dots or something about the dots in the
Oh
staircase.
yeah, I took it upon myself to, I painted everything black, and then I got some black light masking tape, and I did like stripes down the wall. I think it needs something more, so I got just a hole puncher and some black light paper, and sat there for hours just punching out different color little dots, like little dots.
Yeah.
And I sit there with a glue stick, take the dot, the glue stick, stick it to the wall. Take the next dot and a glue stick, stick it to the. It's tedious, man. But I'll pull up a good podcast or something, and it's like maybe not even a third of the way done. Yeah. It's eventually there will be dots all the way up the dam, both sides.
Yeah.
It just adds a little more sparkle, My girlfriend helped do a bunch of the dots for me at one point. I was like, you feel like slinging a glue stick all day? She's like, yeah, I'm bored. I'll come over. I'll hang up some damn dots. What I really should do is just deputize my customers. Like, I'll give you 10% off your stuff if you slap a bunch of dots up on the wall.
That's right. So that was my question though, the staircase. So this was your thing, or were the posters there before?
No,
that was all you.
Yeah, if you see in the documentary that we'll get to, there's a shot of one of my customers walking up the stairs. You see him enter the door, and the camera follows him up the stairs, and you can see it was this ratty old carpet that needed replacing, which I have done. And the walls were this pale green that when Scott took it over, I don't remember what they looked like before that. I think it was just like dark wood paneling. But he painted them this pale, like institutional green. And I don't think the guy he had painted ever even put a second coat on. So it was just like this sickly green color. And we had some promo posters hanging. Some of them were torn because, you're carrying stuff up the stairs. You rip the damn poster, So that was all me. Painted everything black. The worst part, and I need to redo it because it comes up from time to time, the banister going up.
Yeah.
Every single piece is another piece of tape around that and around going up. like a big, like the Rainbow Bridge.
Yeah.
It took me hours.
Yeah.
And it gets wear and tear, so some of the tape comes up. So what I want to do in the fall when it's not so damn hot, strip it down, retape it, and then like
Yeah.
shellac it or something. So
Yeah.
put polyurethane or something on there to keep it, because it gets a lot of wear and tear, because
Yeah.
they're stairs.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was all me, and it took a long time. At one point, I fell off the ladder. I had a ladder because I was painting the ceiling. I fell off the ladder, landed
No.
on my knee, blew out my knee for weeks. Like, yeah, it's been an
Oh.
adventure.
Oh.
That's all
That
right.
just
I
sounds
survived. I
painful.
survived.
Oh, holy Hannah. Sleepy Reader's joining us. Sleepy Reader is a longtime friend of the show, Comic Book Look, and he is actually based on the West Coast, and does his own show, and he is just a fantastic human being. It sounds like I need to get to both coasts more often because there's just tons of amazing humans out there, and I clearly need to come to Jersey and hang out with you and go say howdy to Bill. So in terms of shops, you said that there's shops in your area within the state of New Jersey. Just bring me up to speed. How many shops are there?
You'd think I would know. There's a bunch though.
Yeah.
There's no shortage.
Yeah.
Obviously some come and go. My original shop was called Pegasus Enterprises in Boonton. I grew up in Lincoln Park. 2 towns over is Boonton. Lincoln Park didn't have a high school, so they just bus us to Boonton.
Mm.
And I mentioned in the documentary how I discovered Pegasus, And so if you guys want to hear that story, you got to watch the documentary. There, tough. I ain't telling it here. I told it once. That's all you get. But I started working for him. Pat, we're still friends. We still talk. He stops by the shop and everything. He's like my comic book Yoda. Like, he taught me how to do this. And he decided to retire in 2002. And at that point, I was going to start shopping at Zap Comics, which was 1 town over from me in Wayne. And Pat said, well, before you set up with Zap, just go check out Fat Moose. I'd never heard of it, never been there. He's like, it's, 15 minutes up the road, so it's more of a drive for you. But, Elon's a friend of mine, the original owner, Elon. So I went in and hit it off with him, became a box holder.
Hmm.
And then, he hired me in 2010, mostly because he just wanted to watch football on Sundays. He's like, can you do Sundays so I can watch the Giants? I was like, yeah, sure. And then he liked me and he thought I did a good job, so he kept me on. Awesome. What was the original question? I lost track. Sorry.
No, I was asking about like the
tangent.
shops in Jersey. Like how, I've never been to Jersey myself. Bill is probably.
How many comic shops are in Jersey? I don't know the exact number, but it's lousy with shops. I mean, there are a lot. There's a shop probably 15 minutes from me. Then Zap Comics is maybe a half hour from me. Then there's one I live in a town called Butler, and right next door is a shop called Expired Robot. There's Time Warp. There's Joker's Child. There's, it's, if you ever make it to North Jersey, you're going to have a busy couple of days visiting all these places. Okay. And they're all excellent, one and all. And we're all friends. We all know each other. Even the shop that's closest to me, I don't consider them competition. We're very different stores. When I first took over, I would look at these stores like Zap, and Zap is a very successful store. And Ben, who runs it, and Corey, just they're professional through and through. And I realized I am not. And it took me a minute to reconcile that. I'm like, I can't follow their business model. I can't do what Funny Books does. I can't do what these other stores. I got to be me. I got to make the store a reflection of me. If I'm going to be here this often, I got to make it what the kind of comic shop I would want to go to. Yeah. And I'm most of the way there. I'm getting there. Yeah. There's still always more to do, but with the blacklight posters, the beads in the doorway, the lava lamp, it feels like a comic shop I would have gone to in the 70s as a child. Yeah. So maybe this is a coping mechanism where I'm trying to make it my happy little womb where I can, but you'll make yourself crazy trying to compete with other stores.
Sure.
And as you saw in the documentary, every store is so different. You could sell the same exact product, but you're selling it differently, different vibe, different layout, different choices of how you do things. And that's what makes comic shops great. You go to a convenience store, more or less same kind of stuff. Comic shops, everyone is so friggin' unique, and I love it. And I wish I had more time to go visit more shops. I don't have the time anymore. There's a shop called Eastside Mags in Montclair, and they recently moved. I'd gone to their old location a while ago. They recently moved to a bigger store. It looks great. I've seen it online. And I bumped into the owner at a local convention, Jeff Beck, and I was like, dude, I got to come to your store. My only day off is Monday. I'll come by on a Monday. He goes, that's my only day off. We're closed on Mondays too. I'm like, son of a bitch. So I have to find a day where I can deputize Justin to run the shop all day, and I'll just hit a couple of the shops I haven't been to in a while. Because I
Yeah.
really love visiting all the other stores.
Yeah.
You know.
Thinking of Jersey, and I just was reflecting on this. Bill had mentioned that there's several like conventions local, where he's at or statewide. Does Fat Moose ever take the show on the road and go to cons?
Hell no, man.
Nope. Okay.
Yeah, it's funny because again, it's just me and Justin at the
Yeah.
shop.
Yeah.
So if I was gonna do a show, we got to pack up all the stuff we think might go,
Yeah.
rent a truck, bring it there, set it up. Then the day of the show, where there's a 2-day show that they do right in Morristown, which is 10 minutes from us, you know, I got to be there alone because Justin's got to run there. I'm not going to close the store so we can
Yeah.
both be there.
Yeah.
It's just it's not. I'm not there yet. I've only
Yeah.
had the store 2 years and 8 months.
Yeah.
And a couple of those months we were shut down because of COVID. So I'm not there yet. We're training one of our regulars, this kid Tom. He's in his like mid-20s, and there'll come a point where I feel he's ready, and he'll get a key to the store. And now I got one more guy. Now I got 2 employees, and I can maybe take an extra day off here and there, hang out with my girl, and then maybe if that works out, they do one every year. It just came back called the Garden State Comic Fest. It's right in Morristown. It's 10 minutes from us. And the guys who run it was like, why don't you get a table? Get a table. I was like, I don't want to be there alone. They go, no, if you want to eat or you got to take a crap, we'll watch the table for you. And I trust them. Dave and Sal, they're great guys. But I said, I don't need a table at your con. They said, why not? I said, I see a bump that weekend because everybody leaves the con and Google's closest comic shop, and it's me. So I get a sales bump from your convention anyway. So why would I buy a table? And they're like, foiled again, But someday I could see, the place by me, Zap Comics, again, awesome store. They did for a few years, and obviously they had to take time off because of COVID. They were doing ZapCon. And that was cool. It was like at the local firehouse or whatever, or PAL, I can't even remember. And, they had artists and things, but the only comics you could buy would be from them. And they've got a huge warehouse. They have 2 locations. So they got tons of backstock. And it was cool. And actually 2 years in a row, I was a featured guest. This is before I owned Fat Moose, but me and Anthony Desiato, who did the documentary, did a live podcast from there. And it was just so funny to work.
Oh, no. All right. He'll be back with us in just a second here. But while we're waiting on, I think that his internet might have dropped you guys. While we're waiting on that, though, the documentary is actually the next thing that we're going to talk about here. I'm just going to ping him really quick. The documentary, though, that we're talking about is fantastic. So it is my comic shop country. I'm just double checking myself here. Yes, my comic shop country. It is a documentary. I had a chance to get it through Amazon Prime. And thoroughly enjoyed it. It's just over 90 minutes long and incredibly well done. And I will get some links here just so that you can check it out. I got a link to the trailer. One sec. There are actually 2 trailers. There he is. He's logging back in here. Boop. Maybe. Uh-oh. Let's see here. Let's see if I can get his Ooh. He is just working on it right now. I'm just following along here. Sleepy, I see you. Does Rainbow set up tables at cons? That's an excellent question. So for Rainbow Comics out here, we do like a SuperCon in town here, and then we also have been kicking around the idea of maybe, and that's, assuming that there's spots available in the future of doing Planet Comic Con down in Kansas City. I don't know why I blanked on the name. This is a show that I personally have never been to. And so I do want to get to that show at some point, but to be able to table there and represent Rainbow would be amazing. So if Dave's watching this, or John, you should totally send me down to table. that would be awesome. I would definitely love to do that. We are just trying to get Shawn back in here. These things happen. Let's see. Oh yeah. All right, he is popping back in with us here. Welcome back.
What the hell happened, man?
Yeah, I was like, we were like talking, we were having a good time, and then
It
poof.
cut out. It cut out, and then I tried to rejoin, and it said waiting to go live, and that didn't
Yeah.
take. So I tried again, and then they sent me something. Oh, join up, do your own thing. I'm like, can I just get back to the thing we were doing? So there. This is here we go. My comic shop
Yes.
country. My pal,
Yes.
my buddy Anthony Desiato, man. He put me in a movie. I will be forever grateful.
I am actually just grabbing a little link here to the trailer that you had pointed me
Oh,
towards.
that'd be awesome. I
Just
knew how
to
to do
share
that kind
that
of
too,
stuff.
so you guys can check it out. Check out this trailer on YouTube. There we go. But seriously, you guys, Shawn referred me to this last night, and me being the social like media vampire that I am, I'm like, I'm gonna be up till like 11:30 midnight-ish. Don't care. I want to watch this because it sounds amazing. And I was just like, yes, the whole time. It was just so well done. So first of all, Shawn, to you, kudos for being a part of such a cool
Don't thank
project.
me. He asked me, and I jumped at it. Are you kidding? I was like, absolutely. Yeah.
Oh man, it was incredible, and it just opened up my eyes because these are shops I've never been to and people that I haven't gotten to meet. And when Anthony pinged me through the comments, in a comic book look Facebook group, I was just like, oh my god, okay, like this is cool.
Yeah, Anthony has become a good friend of mine over the past couple years. We
Yeah.
met under the most bizarre circumstances, but yeah, he's. I just talked to him today. I'm like, hey man, I'm doing a show tonight with John. I said, guess what shirt I'm gonna wear? He's like, oh yeah.
um, so let's talk about the documentary then. You said
Absolutely.
that you had the gentleman that reviewed your show film in the store. The documentary, I'm assuming probably maybe was a little bit more intensive in terms of presence in the store and getting those different angles and getting you with questions and stuff. So what was all of that like, I guess, for you?
It was fun, man. It was at the time, predominantly the people that he interviews in that movie were the store owners.
Mm,
I didn't own Fat Moose yet,
mm,
and Matt didn't really want to be on camera, and I was like, I'll do it. I'm not shy, And Anthony and I had already become friends. I'd been on a couple of his podcast episodes, which is called My Comic Shop History, which
mm.
you can check that out. He's got tons of episodes. He's got a whole different thing on Patreon dedicated to just talking about Superman comics and movies, and like, I don't know how he does it. He works at Pace Law University, and he's got a wife and a kid, and his kid is only like a couple years old, and he's cranking out podcasts left and right. I'm like, when do you sleep, man? He's become a hero of mine because I was like, I'm so bad at time management. I have no idea how he gets all this done. But so I had done a couple of his podcasts, and then he did a Kickstarter, and he got the money together, and he came in on, it was like a Tuesday, I think, because that's the slow day.
Mm.
And we did the talking head segments. He would ask me a question and just film me running off at the mouth. And then a few weeks later, he came back on a Wednesday because that's the busiest day, as people know, when all the new comics are out. And
Mm.
that's where he filmed the customer interactions and everything else. So, I mean, funny story was he got the whole movie cut together and everything. And he said, listen, I'm doing a screening in Yonkers. He goes, I know it's a bit of a hike, but if you and Nicole, my girlfriend, I'd love for you guys to come. I'm like, are you kidding? Of course I'm coming to that. Like, to see it for the first time in a movie theater. So we go to Yonkers, and we go to a little cafe first, get a coffee, and I'm just nervous. I'm like, I don't know, what if I'm stupid? What if everybody hates me? I said, I'm probably barely even in it. I don't own the store. I was only the register monkey, and so we go to this little theater, and there is the big screen. We're sitting in the movie seats, and it starts, and I show up pretty early on, just for a moment. And I'm like, all right, that's probably it. I'm sure that's it. And then I show up again. I'm like, okay, all right. And every time I show up on screen, I'm gripping the armrest, like, please don't say anything stupid. I know you're so stupid. But every time I was like, okay, that was good. And I'd go, all right, but that's probably it. I'm probably not in it again. And then my little ego would be like, oh, you should be in it again. You're probably in it more. So after the screening, I went up to Anthony, like, dude, why am I in it so much? I don't even own a comic shop. He goes, I don't know, you're fun. So you're in a good chunk of the movie. And I was like, thank you so much. And then, of course, my customers, being wise asses, one of them, started a hashtag release the Hendrix cut. They're like, we want to see all the footage of Shawn you didn't use, release the Hendrix cut. Like they were trying to get this hashtag trending, you know. And he's like, I really actually used quite a bit of what we filmed of you. I'm like, look, I'm happy. I said, thank you for being such a good editor, because I'm sure there was some crap that I wouldn't want to see. I may or may not have, but definitely was drinking the day he interviewed me because I was nervous.
There you go.
But
yeah,
the movie, I put it on at the store sometimes. It's my comfort food. If I'm having a bad day, I put it on. I'm like, there's the store. There's my buddies. There's and it'll be funny because somebody will be at the register and the TV's behind me, and they're looking at the books. I'm bringing them up, and they look at the TV. They look back. They look at me. They look at the TV, and they go, "You're on TV." Yeah, well, kind of a big deal, I'm in this award-winning documentary, so yeah. I mean, I don't charge for autographs, but if you really want one, I have a lot of fun with it. My girlfriend got very sick of it very quickly because the movie came out and it won an award at a film festival. Like, oh, sweetie, you gonna take out the garbage tonight? I'm like, hey, I was in an award-winning documentary film. I don't simply take out the garbage. It's like, yeah, okay, hotshot, take out the garbage. I try to get as much mileage out of it as I can.
Oh, heck yeah. Well, sir, and well deserved. So for everyone tuning in here, just having the opportunity to watch that, you guys, was really cool. Even if you don't work at a comic book store but you shop at one, it's so informative to kind of just check out, and it gives you a clearer picture of the state of things. And the thing that I thought was really tastefully done was, the one shop closed, right? And so we're an employee of that, it closes, but then we take the initiative to go connect with all these other shops. That was cool. And I really liked the sincerity behind that. Even the closure at the end, I'm not going to spoil nothing. You got to see it. But it's filled with amazing people from all over the country that are operating comic book stores, talking about the state of things and everything that goes in it. Footage, like, getting books out of diamond boxes and all that. I'm just starting to help with that at Rainbow right now. So for me, I'm just like starting my journey. I've only been there a year.
Sorry to interrupt, but I do that a lot. How long have you been at Rainbow?
I've been there just a year.
Okay.
And so I've been a customer of Rainbows for many years. But
and when are you taking over that place?
I don't know about that.
Walk my path. Take it over. See how much fun it is when you actually have to own the joint.
Yeah. I don't know about that, but in the future, who knows? I mean, life's funny and crazy, and sometimes things change.
But dude, believe me, I never expected to own Fat Moose. People come in and go, "Oh, you're living the dream." I go, "Whose dream was this? I want to be a rock star. I want to travel the world." Like I'm locked in this friggin' comic shop for 60-something hours a week now. This wasn't the dream. It's just that I didn't want the store to go away. I know how much it meant to so many people. I know how much it meant to me. I was like, all right, this is my call to action. This is my hero's journey or whatever. Like, I'm thrust into this. Somebody's got to do it. It fell on my shoulders. So I'm doing it. But I wanted to jump back real quick. You were saying that, if you shop at a comic shop or everything, you really dig the movie. You don't even have to read comics or have ever been in a comic shop, because what Anthony did was really focus on the communal aspect of it, and how half the time it's not even about the comics. Half the time it's not even about the physical location of the shop. It's the people and how they meet. I've got people who've become close friends through Fat Moose who would never have crossed paths in real life. I've got like a 19-year-old kid, talking to a 56-year-old lawyer, and and they have this commonality where they love comics and they love the genre stuff, and that's what Anthony really focuses on at the end of it, is that it's not about the comics, it's not about the store. I mean, it is to a certain degree. It's about the friendships and the community that build through there. And if anybody's ever felt a part of any community, some sort of a club, some sort of a gang, some sort of a Rotary, whatever people do, you're gonna resonate with that. You're gonna be like, yes, this is disparate groups of people coming together, sharing a common love. And I think he really nailed it on that. Because people are like, oh, it's about comic book shops. I don't read comic books. I'm not gonna watch it. You don't have to. You don't have to know, Kal-El from Jor-El. Just watch the damn documentary.
Bro, yeah. No, an excellent point. For me, one of my favorite parts was actually just seeing like the different like community events, like because they were showing shots of book clubs and just different ways to like interface with people. Lord Retail, freaking genius. I
Jermaine's
saw
he's
that.
become a friend of mine. We've never
Oh,
met in person, but we talk back and forth, and he's a sweetheart, man. He actually didn't watch the movie for
oh,
a long time
okay.
because he was shy about it.
Yeah.
And me and Anthony had to like browbeat him into watching them. We're like, would you watch the damn movie, please? We put a lot of work. Well, not me. I mean, Anthony put a lot of work into it.
Yeah.
And he finally watched it. He's like, okay, okay. Because I said, I know how you feel. I saw it in a movie theater surrounded by a bunch of strangers. I was petrified that I was going to come off as a jerk off, which, you know, maybe I did to some people. But so I got his point. But I was like, you're going to be watching it at home in your safe space. Like, it
Yeah.
doesn't, you won't feel the gaze of others and bore in the back of your head because you're on screen right now, you
Yeah.
know. But yeah, Jermaine's awesome. I got to get down to his shop sometime, man. Again, it's hard for me to travel anymore, but it's
Yeah.
definitely one day I will pop in and surprise Lord Retail. Absolutely.
Dude, for real. Yeah, he just like I loved just hearing him talk, and like it's that balance of business but people, and like we talked about earlier, there's some shops that just don't get it with
Yeah.
people, like engaging people, making them feel welcome. These mechanics that are so easy to do, but sometimes we just don't do that, and that sets a bad impression. And then House of Cards.
Yeah, I've always been very social. Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, there are times where I just wish everybody would piss off and leave me the hell alone. But, you know, even as a kid, I was voted class clown in the 8th grade yearbook, and it's still like my crowning achievement. You know, my parents, they weren't quite so proud of it, but I've always been a people person, and especially being a musician. You're on
Yeah.
stage, you're in front of crowds, you're working with different bands, different people, different personalities. I'm pretty adaptable.
Yeah.
I'm not going to talk to an 8-year-old kid the same I'm going to talk to a 38-year-old guy. You know, like I adjust. I'm never fake, you know,
Yeah.
but I adjust aspects of my personality depending on who I'm interacting with. But I never want anybody to walk out there and be like, that guy was an asshole, you know. And I come home exhausted every damn night because I'm singing and dancing all day. You know, I'm like,
Yeah.
you know, I could sit there with my head down like this on the counter, and the second I hear the door open, it's like, all right, okay, cool, all right, here we go,
Got
let's
this.
go.
We
You
got
know?
this. Yeah. Yeah. No, I completely understand that. It's it really filled my cup though, is what I was saying earlier with the documentary, in terms of where I'm at in life and what I'm doing and where I'm working full time, and it just made me so happy.
Dude, you're
And it
so
just
gleeful about the comic shop, man. I love it. I'm like, give it a couple years. You know, owning a comic shop, especially, it's like being a pencil. You start out this long, and every day just wears it down just a little bit, just a little bit. You know, but no, I do love it.
yeah,
It's when I'm not there that I'm like, what am I doing with this place? And the alarm goes off in the morning, and I'm like, oh, all right, I got this to do and that and that. And then when I walk in and I turn on the lights and I get everything up and running, then I'm like, suddenly I'm zen about it. I'm like, okay,
yeah,
no, this is where I am. This is what I'm doing. It's when I'm not there, especially like today's my day off, being a
yeah,
Monday.
yeah,
I almost have a hard time enjoying my day off because all I'm thinking about is the stuff I got to handle at the store, you know.
yeah,
But you know, it's high highs and low lows. You know, I've been like a bit of a raw nerve ever since I took it over. You know, because it's very
yeah,
important to me, and I didn't want to take it over and half-ass it. I don't want
yeah,
anybody to be like, "Well, he really screwed that up," you know. So
yeah,
I've put a lot of time and effort to the detriment of other aspects of my life sometimes. So that to work on that balance can be really tricky.
yeah.
But I'm fumbling my way through it as best I can. And the
And
customers seem happy. As long as they're happy, that's fine. I could be tired all the time. That's cool.
yeah. It makes me happy too. Like, my main thing is like people, like the amount of work and everything else like that. I like being busy. I like feeling successful, but I love just people that come in the store. We build those relationships, whatever. And I always I gush to my coworkers a lot about this, but I'm always happy about like what Rainbow is and what we can make it. We have a pretty young team. We have a lot of new faces that have joined, including Trevor, who was in the comments earlier. And it's so fun to see all these pieces come together. Sports cards, Pokemon, Yu-Gi-Oh. It's like all the Infinity Stones are lining
All the
up.
stuff I don't sell.
It's like, but we it's just exciting to play to the team member strengths and engage
Oh
the
yeah.
customers on a level that means something to them, and be able to deliver that. And I really like that, and for us out here in South Dakota, we're one of, I believe, 5 stores in the state, because we're a lot of farmland. So
Well,
it's
yeah.
almost like a colony, and then you go out into farmland desert of sorts, and then another settlement, and it's like the Oregon Trail. It's exciting. But yeah, it's a good place to be. I really appreciated the documentary though for refilling my battery as a retailer. But to your point, it really is an anybody piece. And there's notes for everybody on there.
Well,
Um,
I know you said on Facebook or whatever that the documentary strikes a great balance between showing these other stores, but also honoring alternate realities, a store that Anthony had. He did a prior movie focused solely on alternate realities.
oh, okay,
Yeah, I think it's on YouTube for free, perhaps. If not,
okay,
I know a guy. He might be
okay,
able to hook you up with it.
okay, okay.
He directed it. But yeah, he did this movie, and this was before AR closed,
Mm,
and it just focuses on them and
yeah,
the staff and the customers. He goes to certain people's houses to see their collections. It's great. It's equally as good as My Comic Shop Country,
yeah.
except I'm not in it. So I mean, you know. No, but I think it's on iTunes for free. And he did a short film about Jay Mizell. He's an old guy who had a stand at a flea market for like 50 years or whatever. And that's only, I think, 20 minutes. That's a short one. But yeah, Anthony's got tons of content between the films and oh, and he's got Rise of Wacky Man. Shit, I might have screwed that up. About his friend Zach, who is building a career as a puppeteer. He's
Mm.
trying to get himself into like the Jim Henson universe, working with Muppets and things. And that's another shorter film, but that's good. Yeah, Anthony is a content machine. I don't know how the hell he does it, but dig into that world. You will have hours and hours of entertainment. I'm
I
telling you.
I did check out one of your comic shop team ups. I believe it was maybe the first episode where he mentioned, dude, or you called out. He's done like 40 some videos within X amount of time frame, and like, how the heck do you do that? I
Yeah,
remember that conversation.
I think he's like multiple man. I think he could just split into separates and just get all this shit done. Because I've always been notoriously bad at time management. A lifetime procrastinator. But the shop has definitely helped me try and get things together.
Yeah,
Like you can't sit on this. These order forms are due. That you got to pay that bill. You got to and it kicked me in the ass a little bit.
yeah,
But I'm holding on. I think
yeah,
I think I'm doing okay.
dude,
So
heck yeah, you're crushing it.
and we
Um,
have puppets, so can't go wrong.
and that was the final thing I was going to bring
Oh
up. We
God,
are
were you actually
saving
gonna talk about
the absolute diamond
that?
for last
Okay.
here. Is that darn video about I'm gonna be rich? Is just so funny. We played that for the team, and everyone's just cracking up. We've showed it to customers, and some people are like, "Was that like a dig at me?" And I'm like, "Do you ever do that? Does the shoe fit,
Yeah,
Cinderella?"
yeah. If you
Um,
think that the horse puppet, he's rapidly become everybody's favorite character in my videos. I think he's shown up like 3 or 4 times. Um, he just represents everything wrong with customers. And a friend of mine said, "Well, do you think people might be offended if they think you're talking about them?" I'm like, if you see a piece of yourself in the horse puppet, I want you to be offended
yeah,
because you're bothersome. Like that's the stuff we put up with. People
yeah,
speculating on things, people wanting multiples of things, people, but he's become like this kind of lovable thing where people are like more horse puppet. I'm like, what hole have I dug for myself? When I'm 50 years old, I'm on my damn knees behind the back issue bins with a puppet in this hand, a puppet in this hand, doing different voices. I'm like, what the hell do I think I am? Like, but I get cooped up in there sometimes, and if something pops in my head, it's usually right before I fall asleep. I'll be like, "Ooh, I got an idea for the next video,"
yes,
and I'll wake up the next day, and then I let it marinate for a few days. Like nothing's scripted, nothing's planned.
yeah,
It's just, and I've got more puppets. I
yeah,
I went on Amazon and bought some, and Justin brought in some puppets, and now it becomes like every puppet needs its own identity and its own voice, and I am no impressionist. So I'm
yeah,
like,
yeah,
I think I
yeah.
even referenced in one video, like one of the puppets, like, yeah, Sean's really bad at voices. I'm like, what the hell do you want from me? But it's fun. Again, you get a little cooped up, you get a little cabin fever,
Yep,
and you got puppets. And you're like,
yep,
all right, well, I guess we're doing a puppet thing today. I bought a
yeah,
ring light. I bought a friggin' little tripod for the camera. I got this iMovie or iFilm app that I use. And I'd like to get better at it, with graphics and things. And I realized kind of the charm of it is the fact that they're so crappy looking. I was gonna buy like an effects package for like $40 or whatever, and like let me make this look professional. I was like, well, I don't know, maybe that'll take the charm out of it if it
yeah,
looks too slick.
yeah. I
But
love
yeah,
it. I just think it's so funny, dude. Like,
I
and
appreciate you
also
showing it to people because
oh yeah.
sometimes I'm doing these. I'm like, well, who is this for? And I realize it's for me. It's I entertain myself, and at the end of the day, I guess that's the most important thing.
And then the other one, you guys, seriously on YouTube, check out on Fat Moose Comics, the low budget Civil War is so brilliant.
Oh,
Like
I filmed that years ago.
I love that so much. Like I was like, no way. And then Ghost Rider running around, and I'm just like, oh
Yeah,
my
you wind
god.
up these toys, you don't know where the hell they're gonna go. So yeah, I used to, that was years ago when Matt still owned the store. But I'd be
Yeah,
there alone on a Sunday, and I'd be like, well, let's play a little bit.
yeah,
And yeah, it's funny because I guess you and I met through the retailer page, right? Is that
yep,
how we?
yep.
Yeah, I'll put some of my videos up sometimes, and yeah, I get some negative feedback, like it's so unprofessional. I'm like, what do you
Okay.
mean? Like, what
Yep,
define professional? I'm running a store, the bills are paid, the customers leave happy. What's unprofessional? But
yep,
people are always gonna have to stick up their butt about something.
yep,
I try not to let it get to me. There was a guy who was really like, "You're so wrong about this and that," and you always tell people it's the internet. Who cares? But it got to me. I
yeah.
was sitting downstairs. I'm like, this guy, and my girlfriend said, "Would you take it easy? You're always telling me don't worry about crap on the internet." I'm like, but he's talking about me. Got all up my own ass about it, but I worked through it.
Yeah. No, honestly, I gotta say, through the documentary and through the videos that I've watched and stuff, it's been a true joy learning about you and your journey,
Thank you.
from Register Monkey to owner.
Hey,
And
Mr. Monkey.
if
I
if
missed
that's in
that
the future
title.
for me, I have no idea, but it's really cool to just kind of tune in and learn and watch you. But my favorite thing about you and about Fat Moose Comics is the customer engagement. So you touched upon how sometimes it's a tradition to maybe take a shot, and that it's not like anyone's getting wasted at the counter or anything, but
Yeah.
it's just we're just going to take one shot, talk about a topic or a story, and I think that's really cool. And I think building a community, you're killing it.
Yeah.
And I love
I
that.
the Wednesday night shot has become tradition.
Yeah.
And it's usually bourbon and customers bring me bourbon. They know I like bourbon. And uh I don't remember how it started, but yeah, Wednesday night we close at 8. It's about 7:30. Whoever's in the shop, it's usually the same group of guys,
Hmm.
7 or 8 guys. And sometimes there's strangers in the shop, but we'll be like, hey, we're all doing a shot together. Would you like one? And sometimes they say no, and sometimes they say absolutely.
Yeah.
And it's one shot, and we toast to whatever. Like when Stan Lee died, it was obviously here's to Stan. It was whatever's going on, good, bad, or whatever's going on that week. We do the toast, and that's it.
Yeah.
Um, I have a silent partner who early on when I took over was there, and he goes, I don't know about this having a bottle under the counter thing. And I was like, well, silent partner. So, we could stick with that. So, literally within 20 minutes, one of my customers came in, and he usually didn't come in early in the day. And he's usually in a suit because he's a professional. He's in like sweatpants and stuff. And I said to him, what are you doing here now and dressed like that? He goes, oh man, I just found out my mother died last night. And it was like maybe 2 p.m. on like a Thursday or something.
Hmm.
And I was like, oh my God, I'm so sorry to hear that. I was like, yeah, so I'm taking some days off work. I got to do the funeral arrangements. I was like, well, look, I know it's early and everything, but do you want a shot? And he goes, oh man, I need a shot right now. So we raised a toast to his mother. I said, look, I've never met the woman, but she raised a hell of a son because you're one of my favorites. And we did a shot together. He hugged
Hmm.
me. We both welled up with tears,
Hmm.
and he walked out.
Hmm.
And I turned to my business partner and go, and that's why we keep a bottle under the counter.
Hmm.
Like that. I had a customer a couple weeks ago who came in, and he looked down. I said, what happened? It turns out his nephew had been murdered,
Um,
like literally shot on the street. And I said, well, should we raise a toast to him? And he's like, dude, absolutely. And we sat there, the three of us, and we raised a toast. I said, I'm so sorry for your loss. And it wasn't like, ooh, we're drinking. It was like, ooh, it's a communal thing. We're having this ritual together. And that's what it's really about.
no,
It's not about the drinking. It's about the gathering. It's about we're all doing this thing together. Like cheers, and then
no, no.
and
Heck
then
yeah,
they
man.
leave, and then I got to count out the drawer and everything. So I sometimes have a second shot. But yeah, it's my store. I could do that.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, yeah, I absolutely love that piece though, and just learning that from the documentary and then just from the videos and stuff, I just really gather that you care about people, which
I really do.
yeah.
Sometimes, too much. I wish I was a bit more of a cold-hearted jerk off. Then again, I suppose it depends on who you ask.
Well, that's awesome. Well, Shawn, that's all the questions I had. We absolutely crushed it tonight, and
Dude, I had so much fun. Thank you so much for reaching out for
dude,
this.
yeah, and happy to have you back on as a guest again. We love doing like theme shows and stuff like that. Once I get in touch with the horror books a little bit more, we're definitely going to be chopping it up about that too.
Dude,
Because
reach
I'm,
out whenever. Being the
yeah.
attention whore that I am, I'm always available. I will make time to run off at the mouth. It's what I do.
Oh man, well, appreciate that. Before we wrap up, though, where can people find you? What are your socials? Tell us about the store's information. Where best to follow you?
I'm very lax on everything. I don't do Instagram. I have Instagram. I will freely admit I don't understand the interface. I don't mess with TikTok or any of that. The two
Mm,
places really, if you follow Fat Moose Comics on Facebook,
mm,
I'm the old guy who's still full in on Facebook because I also use it to connect with musicians. That's where I get my gigs and things through there.
mm.
So between the comic shop and the gigs, and then keeping in touch with friends and family, Facebook is like that's my hub. That's my main. But if you want to waste a lot of brain cells on videos with puppets and nonsense, go to the Fat Moose Comics YouTube channel. And I apologize in advance because seriously, oof, man, you know. And I'll watch the videos sometimes, and my girlfriend's like, "What are you like into yourself? You're watching the videos?" I'm like, no, I'm watching them critically to be like, "Okay, that was stupid. Don't do that again." Or all right, people like that puppet. I guess use that puppet again. Or I never
Yeah,
watch things like, "Oh, and look at how great that was." I just
yeah,
watch it to be like, "All right, learn from your own mistakes, stupid." But
yeah,
Facebook and YouTube, those are the two main. Or
yep,
you could always call the store and
yep.
harass me. I've been told I have a very entertaining outgoing message on the answer. So I'm not even going to give you the phone number. Feel free, find us online, call
Yep,
the number. I
yep,
don't know. It was just
yep.
something I threw together. No puppets on the phone, but
Okay.
yeah. Ever get bored? You can hear our outgoing. I think hearing the outgoing message will give you a quick rundown of what kind of store I'm running.
Yep,
We
yep.
don't. We do not take ourselves too seriously because it's comic books, man. You're supposed to be entertained by this. So I try to be entertaining behind the counter.
Yes. Oh man. Well, fantastic visit tonight. In the
John,
comments, I'm
thank you so
seeing.
much, man. This is so
Oh,
cool.
yeah. Thank you all for tuning in and hanging out with Shawn and I tonight. It's been a great show, great conversation, is what we're hearing here. Awesome. Thank you guys. And we'll definitely be having Shawn back on again. And with the sense of community that Fat Moose Comics has built, I personally love the ability that we have to do things like this where it's okay that I'm in South Dakota and you're in New Jersey and we can still get together and jam out. And that's the beauty of, community and online and technology.
Listen,
So,
I can pull a few strings and get you Lord Retail on here.
really,
Of course.
I'm game.
And
Let's
Anthony, you got
go.
to get Anthony Desiato on here.
Oh, I'd love to. Yeah. I'll ping him. He added me on Facebook. I was like, yes.
Yeah, Anthony's
Um,
a great dude.
yeah.
Lord Retail's a great. It's funny because just real. I know this is running long, which always happens
Oh,
when
all
I'm the
good.
guest. But through Facebook and through the documentary, a lot of the people who are in it, we all linked up on Facebook.
Hmm.
So we've got this whole like underground community of like Ralph, the guy, the skinny guy who's always running around. Ralph
Yeah.
from God, I forget the name of the store. I'm sorry, Ralph. But like we're friends on Facebook, me and Lord Retail. Like a lot of the shops, we just kind of reached out to each other, and we'll trade back and forth. Like, hey, I'm short 2 issues on this. I'm sure. Can you give me that? And we trade back and forth and stuff. And it's
Yep.
great. Anthony built this whole sub community
Yeah.
of comic shops and comic shop owners that is like it's so great. It's so cool. Every now and again, Lord Retail reach out to me, be like, "Hey man, how you doing? You need anything?" I'm like, "I'm good. How are you?" It's great. And that was all Anthony. Anthony, the shaper of worlds. He
Yeah.
built this whole thing. Like it's great.
Yeah. The Anthony verse, baby. That's right.
Anthony verse.
No, that's cool. Well, thank you again though for
Thank
your
you,
time
man,
this
so
evening.
much.
And holy Hannah,
Thanks
we pulled
to
it off.
everybody who actually wasted this time listening to me say nothing in effect.
No, it was a good conversation though. And again, the documentary, you guys, My Comic Shop Country, get familiar, check it out. Prime. Yep, there you go. Yep.
I am
And it
prepared.
it is so cool, you guys. Definitely recommend, just giving it a whirl. And I just I enjoyed the heck out of it. So I would love to get my little mitts on the other piece as well. I might bug if you want to bug him, please do, because I
Ooh.
literally just met him. But definitely would be interested because that was some great work, and I was beyond entertained. I was just engaged the whole time.
I love what he did. He really knocked it out of the park. There was a
Yeah.
longer version that I got on Blu-ray for being a Kickstarter person or whatever, and he only made like a small amount of them, and then I think he cut out like 20 minutes.
Mm,
So I've got one of the few like director's cuts.
nice.
You
That's
know, I've
awesome.
got the Desiato cut, and I keep bugging him. I said, I hope one day this movie gets real big, and I'm gonna sell that on eBay, man. The extended cut.
Oh man. Well, shoot. Well, you guys fear not. Shawn will be back. We're gonna be talking more scary books, more awesome books, more everything.
Reach out to me outside of all of this, and I'll
Yeah.
let you know what I have horror book wise, man. I'll be happy to hook you up.
Heck yeah. No, I appreciate that. Thank you. Well, we'll close it down, you guys. As always, this is a Comic Book Look proudly sponsored by Rainbow Comics here in Sioux Falls, South Dakota. Or if you're in the Lincoln, Nebraska location, stop by and say howdy to the team there. We got what you need for comic books and happy to help. That's your boy John on Demand, @John on Demand on the socials, Twitter and Instagram. Comic book blessings to all of you, and thank you for coming to Comic Book Church. And per tradition, you guys, you know the drill. What do we do here at